how to knit the seed stitch. Hi everyone, my name is Norman. I run the blog nimbleneedles.com, and today I want to show you everything you need to know about the seed stitch. The seed stitch is a very simple knitting stitch pattern perfect for beginners. It's a very easy 2-row repeat that only requires the knit stitch and the purl stitch. It creates a textured fabric that is moderately stretchy and perfect for scarves and other reversible patterns. So let's knit it together. You can cast on any number of stitches, but depending on whether it's an even or an odd number, the repeat is slightly different. We start with an even number. I cast on 14 stitches here with a long tail cast on, and from here the repeat is row 1, knit 1, purl 1 across all stitches, and for row 2, purl 1, knit 1 across all stitches, and then you have to repeat these stitches over and over again. So we start with a knit stitch. This means the yarn needs to be in the back. And then knit 1 stitch. Bring the yarn to the front and purl 1 stitch. Then bring the yarn to the back again and knit 1 stitch. Bring it to the front, purl, bring it to the back and knit, and so on. You always alternate between knit and purl stitches until you reach the very end of your row. And then when you purl that last stitch, you turn the work around, and from here you start with the purl stitch. So bring the yarn to the front and purl 1, then knit 1, purl 1, and so on. So the difference is just that you lead with a purl stitch on the wrong side, whereas you start with a knit stitch on the right side. Other than that, you always alternate between these 2 stitches to create the seed stitch. Now I want to show you some really helpful tips, but before, I love shooting these videos, but I need your support. So why don't you give my video a thumbs up right now, leave a nice comment, or even subscribe to my channel. Now here's the tip. Instead of always counting the stitches like purl 1, knit 1, and so on, instead of doing that all the time, you can learn to read your knitting. A knit stitch has this little V here. Can you see this? And a purl stitch has this little bump here. And in seed stitch, you purl all knit stitches and you knit all purl stitches. So all you have to do is identify this next stitch and knit it accordingly. This is a knit stitch, so I purl it. And the next stitch has this little bump here, so I knit it, and so on. Now, I had a user asking me on my blog, why does my seed stitch look like ribbing? Well, that is a very common problem if you accidentally cast on an uneven number of stitches. The thing is, the 1x1 rib, like this swatch here, alternates between knit and purl stitches as well. The only difference is that with a seed stitch, you have a 1 stitch offset in the return row, while in ribbing, you stack the knit stitches on top of each other. But there's a really simple and easy rule that can help you. Let me show you. So, in the seed stitch, no matter what your last stitch is, you repeat that stitch in the next row. So in this case, my last stitch is a purl stitch. And as I turn my work around, I need to purl the very first stitch as well. And if you stick to that golden rule, then you will never create ribbing. And if your last stitch is a knit stitch, well, then your first stitch of the next row needs to be a knit stitch as well. So speaking of it, How do you knit a seed stitch with an odd number of stitches? Easy, it will look exactly the same. All you have to do is you need to change the repeat slightly. So on row 1 you knit 1, purl 1 across all stitches, but at the very end you need to add 1 more knit stitch. You don't end with a purl stitch, you end with a knit stitch. And when you turn the work around, you don't purl the first stitch. Instead, for row 2, it's the exact same repeat and you lead with a knit stitch. So in a way, it's easier to knit the seed stitch with an uneven number of stitches because then it's just a 1 row repeat. One of my users also was confused and asked me, what is the difference between a moss stitch and a seed stitch? Both look very similar, but the moss stitch is a 4 row repeat while the classic seed stitch has only 2. Again, both alternate between knit and purl stitches, but the moss stitch keeps the same pattern for 2 rows. So it's a bit like a duplicate seed stitch. And if you look really closely, you can see that there are always 2 knit stitches stacked upon each other. While here in the seed stitch, it's always only 1. So the moss stitch is sort of in between the 1x1 rib and the seed stitch. And last but certainly not least, I also wanted to show you how to knit the seed stitch in the round. It's quite easy to do, and if you don't know how to knit in the round, I'll link you my full tutorial up in here and in the description below. The repeat is round 1, knit 1, purl 1, and for round 2, purl 1, knit 1. So it's exactly the same as before. You always alternate between purl and knit stitches and just look at what the next stitch is. This is a purl stitch, so knit it, and this is a knit stitch, so purl it. And if you stick to that rule, you will create the seed stitch in the round. Now here's the thing, you can knit the seed stitch in the round with an even number or an odd number of stitches. If you want to cast on an odd number of stitches, you would have to add 1 more knit and purl stitch at the end of each row. And this section here was knit with an even number of stitches, and this with an uneven number of stitches. And this line here is the jog between where I switched into the next round. And as you can see, it's a bit visible. This white line here is just to show the difference between the 2 sections. And I noticed that if you do it with an uneven number of stitches, this tends to create a ladder here, while with an even number of stitches you end up with these 2 purl stitches and knit stitches next to each other. So they're both noticeable, but personally speaking, I found that the even number is a tiny bit less obvious, so that's probably my favorite, but I wanted to show you both so you can make your own decision. Anyway, that's how to knit the seed stitch. I really hope I was able to show you this beautiful and simple knitting stitch pattern. Please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, comment with your feedback or your questions, and of course consider subscribing to my channel in case you don't want to miss any new videos. Happy knitting and enjoy the rest of your day!